Hey guys, chapter 5 in the purity section of the book is called Fireplace and Wildfires. These analogies that I give in this book that are really the focus of this entire chapter are really important for us to understand, to get a strong visual of what marital sex and sex outside of marriage can be. So the key points in this chapter are really understanding the fireplace analogy for biblical marital sex, understanding the wildfire analogy for sex anywhere else, and then talking about God's purpose for sex, which can be misunderstood sometimes even inside the church, and then Satan's hatred of sex, and that's why there's so much misuse and abuse of it. Another key point in this chapter would be understanding the triangle analogy that I give you of the husband and the wife at the base and God at the top. And as you get closer to one another, you get closer to God. As you get closer to God, you get closer to one another. Another key point is that the fact that internet porn today is actually the accelerant of an arsonist wildfire. And talk about that concept, that visual, and how it's true in the life of our culture. Another point would be to talk through just the pervasive addiction of porn. There may not be another addiction today other than maybe opioids that has such a secretive, pervasive, and invasive aspect to our culture. We need to really understand that. The last one, number 7, would be just as if you're a dad in the group, if there's dads in the group, just the warning of what we've got to deal with talking honestly and openly about pornography with our kids. And then, man, that closing passage in Isaiah is really strong, so make sure you don't miss that. Now I want to give you the discussion questions for chapter 5. Number 1, discuss the fireplace analogy for sex, and how does this connect with you in better understanding God's plan for sex and marriage? Question number 2, discuss the wildfire analogy for sex, and how have you experienced this dynamic burn people in your own life or the people around you? Question number 3, why would Satan want to see every person misuse and abuse sex? Question number 4, how do you think Satan's plan makes sex one of our toughest areas to obey God? Well, why is that such a focus, but also why is it so tough to fight him off and to be obedient to the Lord? Question number 5, discuss the concept of marital sex being worship, the idea that's an aspect of worship to God, which isn't taught very much, and also we don't think about very often in the church. But why is this truth often difficult for people to accept, and how does it even make sense for Christ's followers? Talk about that. Question number 6, discuss the triangle concept of marriage that you find on page 60. Question number 7, based on the biblical truth found in Ephesians 5 about mutual submission, why do you suppose our culture has lost respect and honor for marriage and sex in God's plan? Question number 8, discuss how porn fuels the wildfires of sex. Question number 9, what are some practical ways in your group that you can become accountable to one another in all of these areas? The last question, and question number 10, which is really key to your small group on an ongoing basis, is what are some specific ways that your members of your group can help each other maximize the fireplace in your marriages? Or if you're single, guys, talk about maximizing being ready for the fireplace in your future marriage.